Come da può capire chi te va bene, se tu la parla miezza americano, quando si fa l'amore sotto la luna.
Okay, so we are roughly across the street from the chocolate factory after being first displaced outside and then trying to follow audiences to the bar where there was a drink special. Too crowded, came here, felt a little bit like crashing, but we did have some final thoughts that we wanted to share.
My thoughts, as I sort of said to the guys, I really liked the show. I liked a lot of what was going on in the show, and you know, the fact that it didn't necessarily coalesce into one thing, I am less bothered by, because there was enough going on that I really felt engaged with. There was something really weird going on with one character in a way that was really exciting.
What character is that?
Well, none of them had names, and I don't want to look at my program and just pull a random name out, but the first time you see her, she's sweeping the floor.
The fish suit.
She wears a fish suit later in the show. At the beginning of the show, your first introduction is that she's sweeping the stage. Everyone is in the same costume, and she's just dressed in street clothes. And because the ESL aspect always made me refer back to like a public school education, having her as basically a janitor as the first introduction and then being separate the whole time was just blowing, like, really disturbing a lot of my shit. And there was a lot of aspects of it that I felt supported in, about how the barrier of language reduces things to stereotype. Like how, because they don't know Spanish, they just went Español, 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 Español. Because, and also the sort of like unconventional theater aspect of it, which often doesn't work because it's kind of a choppy and uneven form sometimes. It made it feel like experimental language, experimental theater, or whatever that would mean, is like a foreign language, but because it was part of this show, like, that was okay. Like, and then also there's this one part where they do this, what looked like a traditional Korean dance, but could not have been. Like, I have no ability to judge if it was an actual Korean dance or if it was something that felt to them looked Korean, which made me be like, oh, like, that's a actual movement vocabulary that is a foreign language to me. So there was a lot of that was very, very interesting to me and really powerful in a lot of senses. You know, yeah, I think that's what I'll say.
At the end of the piece, I actually like felt my heart, and it was beating noticeably faster, which that was my immediate sort of gut reaction to the piece, and I feel like, so tracking backward, you know, I was like really penetrated by the sound at the end. It was between there were so many you know, some lighting and sound that like really like got into you, inside of you. Really white light, really deep, full sound. Those were often like the bits of the piece that no matter how much you were floundering with the rest of it, whether that be a design element or the language of the piece or the performance, those were things that you could hold on to. Those were the things that, you know, to me, like what they were talking about with gesture and stuff, like that became as close to a universal language as I thought anything possibly could. Was the things that were purely visceral and
yeah, no, it was
experiential. I mean, I feel like that was the whole piece, though. I mean, like, it was to be enjoyed or
Rocket Hub and
interacted with, you know, based on your experience, and not.
At the same time, I want to delete you guys off Facebook.
Yeah, I don't.
There's so many posts.
For as much, like, as clear it was, you know, that it was that, you know, there was a very high intellect behind the piece. I didn't feel like that was necessarily.
Oh yeah. That's a good resource.
I think if you tried to interface with the piece that way, you were really doing yourself a disservice, which is something that I actually really liked about the piece. Was
1 2/3 projects.
feeling I know this is smart, but I actually don't have to worry about that so much. That was my. I really liked it.
But it's like really been.
I would like to see more things like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Papa l'americana.